destroy the intellect that imbibes defects and adopt a Satopradhan and divine intellect. Now you see that what is the intellect? The intellect is like a vessel in which I, the soul, hold things. Now you see, if I am holding somebody's defects in my intellect, then what is it doing to me? It is spoiling my intellect, right? And if I hold somebody's defects in my intellect, then what is the quality of my intellect? Very degraded. Yes, and when my intellect is dirty, then how can my intellect function well? Now I want my intellect to discern, decide. Everything is done by the intellect. Choices are made by the intellect. Focus of attention is done through the intellect. Now, if my intellect is spoiled and made dirty because I don't pay attention and I keep absorbing everybody's defects in my intellect, then what will be the quality of my decisions? What will be the quality of my life? Yes. So Mama used to always say that if you are holding somebody's defects in your intellect, then it is like accumulating the garbage that somebody else is throwing out of their house and bringing it and keeping it and storing it in your house. Because you see that, let's say I have a defect, then what am I trying to do about it? I'm trying to give up that defect because I'm troubled by my own defect. But if you choose to keep my defect in your buddhi, then what are you doing? You are storing and accumulating something that I'm trying to throw away. So that is not a wise thing to do. And Baba says that this is what our aim should be, that we destroy the intellect that imbibes defects. And so you see, it is important to understand why we have to destroy this kind of an intellect, because it's not doing any good to us. You see that how comes later, it's the why that comes first, because it is said when the why is clear, the how is easy. But the thing is, we don't understand why we have to destroy this intellect. I will tell you, there is a course going on right now, and then in the course there are many questions coming up about if somebody has done some wrong to you, right? Or somebody has stolen something, or somebody has molested your body, or somebody has done anything that is something that is very wrong on their part to do, then why should you make an attempt to see that as a scene in the drama? And why should you try to detach from that scene? And why should you try to, forget and forgive? Because it's very important that you have to understand that whatever you take from a scene, so, even if somebody has a lot of defects, a lot of kami kamzori, what we call, shortcomings, tendencies which cause harm to the other also, even if somebody has that and they are not shying away from expressing that through words or through acts, what is the safety that you have to have for yourself? You have to protect yourself from being, from carrying that in your intellect, because every person, every soul is responsible for their karma and their destiny. But if you start holding their, their shortcomings, their defects in your buddhi, then that starts becoming your karma and part of your destiny. And just think about how many people are suffering because of the memories that they are carrying. Yes, and if you look at your life, there are so many memories that we carry. And what are those memories? Those memories are bitter experiences, yes, that happened in the past. Now, what is a bitter experience? A bitter experience is made of two parts: somebody displaying their defects in word or action, right? Somebody is speaking something, doing something which is a reflection of their defects, their illnesses. And second part is you absorbing that and holding it in your intellect and churning over it until it starts becoming a part of your memory. So, when Baba says Smriti Swarup, what is Smriti Swarup? You have churned over something so much that now it has become part of your awareness. Now, Baba tells us that churn on the knowledge that I am giving you. But instead of doing that, what have we done all this 63 births? What we have done is we have churned on the defects of other souls. We have carried those actions, those words in our awareness, and by churning them, they have become part of our smriti or awareness. And what is that smriti doing to us? That awareness is now coloring our attitude and vision and action. And our attitude, vision, and action is creating our destiny. So just think about it. Somebody else's karma has now become your karma and it is creating your destiny. Yes. So Baba says this is a very dangerous thing to have. So, sometimes we use this method of self-sabotage, not knowing that this is self-sabotage, but thinking that, this method is a method of boosting our ego, and we try to hold in our awareness somebody else's defects to tell myself that I'm doing okay or I am a better person, right? But the thing is, instead of feeding, so when your ego is fed, it's not a good thing, it is backfiring on you. And Baba says, don't use this dangerous method of feeding your ego by holding somebody's improper actions in your awareness. And this, when we realize that I don't want to imbibe defects of others, so first you have to have this clarity of aim. And when you understand that this is not what you want to do, then you try to destroy that intellect or, overcome that intellect which does that. And how do you do that? By changing your intellect into a divine and Sato-Pradhan intellect. Now, how does your intellect become divine or Sato-Pradhan? Just like, a vessel, when you want it to be clean, what do? Yes, you clean it, with soap or with brush or whatever. And Baba says, how do you clean your intellect? You clean your intellect by churning on Baba's virtues, by thinking about Baba. So, if you try to, some people will tell you that, or even Baba tells you that, don't look at other people's defects, right? But it is not very easy to take that, to do that in the first step. So, if you're just trying to look at somebody's actions and not look at their defects, it's very difficult because your intellect is the one who looks at defects. So you have not destroyed that intellect is in place. And B, the person has defects, right? So when that person has defects and you have that intellect which sees the defects, then usually you will try not to see the defects, but you will see that, right? But how do you practice not seeing defects? By just seeing the one who has no defects. So first you try cleaning your intellect by looking at the one who has no defects, because if you start practicing with humans, you will be a failure. So you can apply it on humans who are with defects, but first, how do you clean your intellect and make it capable of looking at only virtues? By constantly looking at and churning over that one who has no defects and only virtues. So, when you remove your intellect from churning over anyone and anything, and just hold Baba in your awareness, and just keep churning about Baba's virtues, and how Baba is there and he has come for you, and how Baba is sustaining you like a father, teaching you like a teacher, taking you across like a Satguru. So when you start churning about Baba and experiencing Baba's virtues in different relationships, and thinking about different forms of Baba, like Baba is the ocean of peace, Baba is the ocean of love, or Baba is the purifier. So Baba says, when you keep doing this, then you will be able to make your intellect Sato Pradhan. So don't think about humans, don't think about things that are happening. They are happening anyway, they have to be dealt with also. But don't keep churning over it. Churn over Baba who has come, and Baba who is the ocean of virtues and powers. And when you do that, then the first thing that happens is you start seeing your virtues and powers. So when you look at Baba, you think about Baba, then you start seeing yourself from Baba's vision. So when you start thinking about Baba, when you start thinking about Baba's qualities, you arrive at a place when you start seeing yourself from Baba's eyes. And when you look at yourself from Baba's eyes, you can see virtues in yourself. Yes, you see that ever since, when you talk about self-image, we are sometimes taught how to see specialities in ourselves. Yes, I'm a good singer, good dancer, good business person, good, good engineer, good doctor, so good teacher. So we are, from childhood, somewhere, we are conditioned to see our specialities, but we are never taught to see our virtues and powers. Are you ever taught to see yourself as a peaceful, loveful being, or a powerful being with the power to tolerate, or the power to face, or the power to discern and decide? Nobody teaches us that. Nobody teaches us Swaman. Everybody teaches us Abhiman. Abhiman is based on what you have and what you do. So somewhere we are taught to look at ourselves as someone who is good at doing something, or somebody who has something. But we are never taught to look at ourselves as a being who is valuable, as a being who is worthy, as a being who is virtuous and powerful. And when you start seeing Baba as the supreme being, and Baba is the supreme being, and Baba is the supreme because of the virtues and powers he has. And when you start thinking about that, churning about that, then you start seeing yourself also as Baba's child, and the being that is virtuous and powerful. And when you start seeing yourself as a being of light, a virtuous, powerful being of light, then the law says you perceive as you are. So you start seeing others also. Every soul you meet, you start seeing them also as a being of virtue and power. And the only method to dissociate yourself from seeing the doing and the having is looking at the being. And you cannot look at the being without taking these two steps. First is looking at the Supreme Being, then looking at the being that you are in Baba's light, and then you have the drishti, you have the intellect, you have the vision to see someone else as a being of light, despite whatever they do or whatever they have. And this drishti, this buddhi, this drishti is what is called a sato pradhan and divine drishti or buddhi. And Baba says that, when you want to destroy something and create something new, it takes effort. Yes, so right now our intellect is a dirty intellect that absorbs virtues. And have you seen that if there is a dirty corner, it attracts dirt? Yes, so if there is a dirty corner, then you don't have to make it dirty. It gets dirtier by itself. So similarly, because it attracts dirt, and if something is clean, then then something, so even if if there's a clean corner, then somebody looks at it, they are discouraged from making it dirty because it is clean, right? So I remember there was this one place when I was invited somewhere, and everybody was doing their own thing, and there was food that they were eating, and of course I was not accepting food there. So and they were very careful that I was wearing a white sari, so nothing should fall on my sari. So they were very careful. They told me, Didi, you don't come here because here it's all messed up, and we don't want anything to stain your sari. So you see, when something is clean, then everybody is discouraged from making it dirty. And Baba says that if you clean your own intellect, then that intellect will not catch the dirt. But if your intellect is dirty, then what happens is it's a dirty world. Then you start catching all the dirt that's in the world because your intellect is dirty. So in order to destroy that dirty intellect and change it into divine, what you do is look at the creator of divinity, Shiv Baba, and hold that Baba in your intellect. Who is Baba? How is Baba? How elevated is Baba? How Baba is the ocean of love, ocean of peace. How Baba is the purifier. How Baba has such a big heart that he comes all the way from the soul world just for me. How Baba is able to tolerate, all the children. Look at us, and Baba is the ocean of tolerance also. Baba has the power to face. Baba has the power to discern, decide. So when we keep holding Baba in our awareness, then and start perceiving ourselves as Baba's children, then we start seeing our virtues, and then that intellect starts seeing the virtues in others also. So this is the method. And then today Baba tells us that when we look at somebody when we see ourselves as souls, as sparkling stars, then our drishti enables others also to see themselves as sparkling stars. And you see that these are some spiritual laws which are of great value if we understand them and use them. And in this teaching that Baba is giving, there is the spiritual law that your vision colors other people's vision. Yes, your vision of yourself colors other people's vision of themselves. And just think about it. We are, when we are little, then people, so I remember, there was this one girl, she used to come to the center with her mother. And she used to, she used to wear these beautiful dresses. And every day she would ask me, how is my dress? And I used to tell her, your dress is nice, but you are nicer. So when you are nice, you wear anything, you're nice. So she used to just, I thought that she doesn't recognize that statement. But anyways, Baba tells us you speak knowledgefully. So I used to tell her this. And then, her father, he started objecting to the mother, don't go to the center, I don't like it, and this and that. And the mother stopped coming. And then some days the mother didn't come. Then the child asked, why are we not going to the center? And the mother said, your father doesn't want us to go, so we are not going. So she went to the father and she said, I have to go to the center, and I and Mama both have to go to the center. And then the father said, but why do you have to go to the center? What is there which is not there here? So, what extra do you find there? So, what that child said? That little girl said, that Didi always tells me I am nicer than my dress. And I want to go and hear that. So she tells me, your dress is nice, but you are nicer. So I want to go and hear that. And the father, I don't know what happened to the father. He had a sudden change of heart. And then he said, okay, you take your mama and go. So you see that when you look at somebody like something, they also start looking at themselves like that. And this is the power of vision. And just think about, what we are doing to children and people around us. We are always looking at them as bodies, or them as resources, or we are looking at them as, people are called human resource. So we are looking at them as somebody who can fetch money, who can do things. And then because neither can the body be perfect, nor can the doing and having be perfect, we are always having that vision that this one is not okay. And then that vision is coloring them and pulling them down from their self-esteem. So Baba says that, but the law remains that you can only perceive as you are. You cannot have an elevated vision for somebody and not have an elevated vision for yourself. Only if you look at yourself as a valuable, worthy soul, can you look at others as a valuable, worthy soul. So Baba says, just like, if there is a snake with a jewel on the forehead, so, there is this concept of Nagmani. I don't know whether it's fictional or real, but, there is this jewel that the snake has on the forehead. And Baba says, if there is a snake in front of you, which has a shining jewel on the forehead, you wouldn't look at the snake, because the jewel will attract you. Similarly, when you are an embodiment of remembrance, when you are in the awareness of your self-worth and your virtues, and you are in the awareness of the sparkling star that you are, then others will also start seeing themselves as sparkling stars in your presence. So this is also a very beautiful teaching that Baba is giving us. And it is naturally elevating when other people are in contact with elevated souls. So, your state of being starts rubbing over them, and they also start stabilizing themselves in their elevated state, right? And in today's Murli, Baba is, talking, Baba is kind of, calling out to us very vehemently that, we must prove, or we must, substantiate that Shiv Baba is the sermonizer of Gita, and Shiv Baba, the Nirakar or the incorporeal one, is the sermonizer of Gita and not Shri Krishna. Yes, why? Because you see that there is so much of importance given to Gita in the world. And you see, there are whole institutions who are propagating the Gita and who are distributing books, distributing the Gita to everybody. But despite so much of, so much of, so much of dissemination of the Gita, the world is not becoming a better place. Why? Because people don't understand that when it is written in the Gita that forget your body, forget your bodily relations and religion, and remember me, it is not a bodily being that we have to remember. We have to remember the Supreme Soul with his qualities, with his virtues. And you see that because we don't understand that it is Shiv Baba who we have to remember, and Shiv Baba who has come from the soul world for me. Now you see, it was when you think about the Gita, if it is said that Arjuna was directed by Shri Krishna and told that you remember me, it makes sense because Arjuna was standing in front of Shri Krishna. But we are not standing in front of Shri Krishna right now, right? And when we listen to the Gita in the world, what is the thought that we have? The thought is, this is the scripture that Shri Krishna spoke to Arjuna and we are just reading it. We are not thinking about, this is the scripture that God is speaking to me. I am not Arjun. This is something that God spoke to Arjun. Now Baba tells us that you have to understand that Baba didn't speak to one Arjun. Baba doesn't come for one Arjun. Baba comes for every child that he has. And he has come and he is sitting here in Sangam Yug. Do you understand that Baba is also waiting so that we can all get ready and go back home, and just think about God who has left his supreme abode and he has come here and he is here for us and he is teaching us, sustaining us. And if we knew that, how much of importance would we give to the Murli? That Murli which is teaching us how to be soul conscious, every day directing us to remember Baba, every day directing us to embrace purity, yes, or cleanse our intellect, and how much importance we would give to every direction that Shiv Baba gives in the Murli, and how much love could we have for Baba. Because if we understand, most people in the world, they don't understand that Baba has come from the supreme abode and he is teaching us this Gita in Sangam Yug, which is direct Bhagavanu Vach, and he is teaching us to make us the king of kings or deities. And if every soul realized that, you see, like everyone realizes the importance of Gita. So think about how many people who are reading the Gita but who don't know that Gita is being spoken right now by Shiv Baba are depriving themselves from the direct sustenance of Baba. And if they knew that Baba has come for me, then putting those words of Shiv Baba into execution, that remember me, would be so easy, because it is so easy to remember the Father who has come from the supreme abode to change you from a human to a deity. Right? So Baba says that it is important that this sits in the intellect of children, that God doesn't come in the copper age and He doesn't recite the Gita in the copper age. God is the supreme soul, the Nirakar, the point of light, and He has come now, and He is sitting before us and giving us these directions every day. Those directions which I have to take in the form of Arjun and change from a human to a deity and win this battle with Maya. And Baba says you also have to clarify this fact that it is said that God takes a chariot. Yes, so, and the chariot belongs to Arjun. But Baba says God doesn't take a chariot driven by horses. God takes a human chariot, and that human chariot also have 5 senses which stand for the 5 horses. And this is the human chariot in which Baba descends and he is speaking the Gita Gyan. Now just think about it. Do we so we are children and we realize that this Murli is our true Gita, and this Murli is Shiv Bhagwanu Vach, and God is speaking these words, and I have to imbibe it, and if I imbibed it, I would win the battle against Maya and I would become a deity. But think about the numerous souls who don't recognize the value of this Murli and who are completely unaware that God has come and He is filling the aprons of His children in this Sangam Yug, because they are living in that illusion that God will come in the copper age. And I remember once I was traveling by metro, and there was this one brother who was sitting beside me, and he told me, you are into spiritual practice and I want you to tell me a secret. So I said, yes, tell me. So he said that I think that people like you have the third eye and they can see things, and just tell me, when is God going to come in the form of Kalki avatar? So it is said that God will come in the Iron Age and He will take a Kalki avatar and He will come on a chariot, on a horse, He will come riding a horse. So you see that people are waiting, but people don't recognize that God will not come in a wooden chariot, or God will not come on a horse. God, the Nirakar, the incorporeal being of light, He comes, He takes the Aadhar or the foundation or the support of a human body, that of Brahma Baba, and He is speaking the Gita right now. And I remember I told that brother, that I will tell you that God has come and this is the horse. And because I had that pocket Chitra Pradarshini with me, so I showed that picture and I told him that God has descended into this body called Brahma Baba, and this Brahma Baba is the horse or the chariot or whatever you think, and God descends into this body and He's speaking the Gita. So then he immediately told me, so where can I listen to this and where can I go and find out what God is trying to tell me? So then I told him the address of the center, and so you see that this is the This is why it is very important, because everybody is looking for God. But if you're looking for someone, but you don't have his photograph, or you don't have, you don't know how to recognize him, then even if he's sitting in front of you, you won't recognize him. So everybody has it in their buddhi that God has this beautiful form of Sri Krishna, and he will come on a horse or a chariot. And that is why even if God is sitting in front of them, they don't realize it. Yes, so Baba has come, and Baba is sitting in the body of Brahma Baba, and he's giving these directions to us, but we don't understand it because we don't have the, the, what do you say, the pointers on which we can recognize God. So it is very important to tell everybody that God is an incorporeal entity. He is not a human, and he doesn't have a body of his own, and the chariot he takes is a human chariot, and he doesn't come in the Dwapar Yuga, he comes in the Sangam Yuga, and he speaks the Gita so that we can become the deities or the king of kings in Satyug. Okay, Om Shanti.